Hello everybody. I'm coming at you with a different sort of video today. I think the idea is going to primarily be just chilling, talking about this new game that just came out that I'm sure a lot of y'all know about. Talking about my favorite character to play, which is Skyraider, and just honestly sort of gushing about it because I really like this game and this character. This is going to be much less edited than the previous video, just to see how I can fit these things a little bit better into my workflow, and we're just going to see how it goes. I've got sort of an outline here that I'm going to talk about. So if you haven't heard of this game, it just released recently. It's called Mecha. It's a hero shooter in the same vein as Overwatch, Marvel Rivals, things like that. Obviously, it looks very different, but in my opinion, I think it's actually very similar because it's the same idea where you pick from a roster of predetermined characters. Those characters have like 3 abilities, and you essentially just create team compositions and fight for objectives like pushing a payload or domination or team deathmatch, any of those typical hero shooter things. I completely forgot what the genre was called. And it's been really fun so far. It just came out a few days ago. I think it's really popular. I think the customization of the planes, I play a plane, but the customization of the mechs is all right. Like, in very great detail, you're able to choose colors and things like that, but there is no customization really in terms of parts. A little bit in certain game modes, there will be item boxes that fall down and they will have like a weapon in them, and you can pick that weapon up and use it in replacement of your primary weapon, basically. But in the typical PvP game modes like this one, there isn't really that. I think there might be that in team deathmatch modes. 15 characters to choose from so far, and I personally have been playing the character that you're seeing named Skyraider. He is super cool. I'm gonna say he, even though the mechs are genderless. It's just, it is what it is. You know what it is he looks a lot like Starscream, and that's what attracted me to him in the first place. Not to mention, he's got those, when he's in flight mode, he's got those cool little escort drones beside him that automatically shoot down enemy missiles. So cool. And so that's why I use that particular pronoun. But he is basically a bomber plane, whereas Falcon, another flying character in this game, is more of a dogfighting, more standard DPS. I think Skyraider is basically, you fly around, you drop bombs and missiles and stuff on people, and I don't know why, but that gameplay is very fun, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. Is why actually is the game fun, and why actually do I think Skyraider is super fun. I'm trying to analyze that. So just to give you a quick overview of the way the character works, your primary fire is 2 little laser shots, but you can hold it to charge up a much stronger laser beam that does a good amount of damage. The secondary fire is this sort of yellow orb that you shoot down at a target, and it sort of creates a ball on the ground that is constantly damaging, and it really forces people to have to reposition, especially turret characters like Stego and Tricera, because you put the orb on them and they're constantly taking damage as long as they're standing in it. It's that yellow orb right there on the screen right now. Obviously people can move out of it, but again, it forces people to reposition. It does a good amount of damage. It's pretty nice. The only funny thing is that it also damages allies. So my friends were definitely complaining while I was playing with them about like me damaging them with my orb. And then his main bread and butter ability, which is only accessible in his flight mode. I suppose his flight mode is another ability. You can see how the yellow orb is like messing that guy up because he's just standing there. And finish him off with the primary charge shot. But that little missile that I drop is your final ability. It falls down, and you can sort of choose where, and then once it gets past a certain point, it'll split off into 16 micro missiles, and those micro missiles automatically home into any enemy targets in the area. Pretty cool. It requires a little bit of accuracy to like get the bomb in the right vicinity, I guess, but otherwise you just sort of drop it and the missiles kind of go and do their own thing, and most of the time they do a really good amount of damage, especially if all of them are focused on one target. I think one really well placed missile salvo is going to end up destroying the shields of any not tanky character, basically. Oh, and you do have one last ability that I completely forget to use sometimes, which is I'm not really sure how to describe it. Functionally, it's sort of a smoke screen. You can target enemies and shoot this like blue smoke screen at them, and the blue smoke screen makes it so that they are unable to target lock while they're inside of it. So it's good for defense, and it's good for putting it near somebody that you're trying to fight so that they can't lock onto you. And it also blocks energy damage, or at least reduces a lot of energy damage. So like, for example, lasers and things like that from Inferno, it can block or even reduce a little bit. So pretty cool. I really love his kit. I think it makes a lot of sense to me personally. Flying around is super fun. There's another character, like I mentioned, that flies around named Falcon, but he is a lot lighter. He is a light attacker, whereas Skyraider is a medium attacker. And Falcon, while he's a little more nimble and he's got some more options in terms of how to evade, and he is just a little faster in terms of his movement, at least the way that it feels to me. And he does a little bit more consistent damage as well, but Falcon is like a little too nimble and too lightweight for me. I kind of like the little more slower, methodical play that Skyraider has to do. He's a little bulkier because he's a medium, a little more forgiving in that sense. You've really got to think about those bombing runs of like, how many resources do I have? Is this a character that's going to be able to shoot my missiles down before they get to him? Do I have to manage my energy and stuff, which every character in this game kind of has to. But you really have to think a lot. You probably have to as well with Falcon, but I don't know, just don't like that that character as much. And I've tried playing other characters that that don't fly. I've tried playing Panther, I've tried playing Welkin, I've tried playing Elysinus, I've tried some of the tanks like Tricera and Hurricane, but honestly, not flying. Oh, I tried Panaka as well. Not flying sucks. I don't think I will ever be able to play a character that does not fly consistently. Maybe, but flying just feels so good. The sense of speed when you fly in this game is fantastic, even though you're not actually going that fast. When you see flyers in this game, like that Skyraider just there, they don't actually move that fast when you look at them. But it's just the sense of speed in this game is fantastic. It makes you feel like you're so powerful. And I don't think I can give that up. I don't think I can run around on the ground and fight people with melee attacks. Ugh, I hate the melee characters. They fuck me up if they manage to get up to me. In this particular game, it wasn't too much of an issue, but in the game after this one with Welkin, thank God for Panaka healing me. In the game after this, there is a Welkin that fucks me up. Yeah, but flying too gives this really fantastic feeling of freedom. It really makes you feel so powerful and so free. It gives you perspective on the battlefield. It sort of lets you see things from such a like a more tactical position. And I think that's so fun, at least for me in particular. I sort of like that over that role that gets to see everything and sort of call things out and stuff like that. I play mid in League, and I know I'm toxic for playing League of Legends, but I like mid for that reason, because it's like I'm in the middle of the map. I can make plays anywhere. I can go anywhere, and that's what it feels like I can do with Skyraider. I can kind of go anywhere, help with anything. If my friend needs help, I reposition super quickly, and I think I can do a pretty damn good job of that, right? And the power trip that I was about to call him Falcon. The power trip that Skyraider gives me, where, like I was saying, you put the yellow orb down. I forget the name of the move. It forces a tank to reposition. You keep flying back and forth, poking at them slowly over time, over and over again. You have to really play patient. You really have to understand your limits in terms of, is a melee player going to jump at my ass like they will in this game? And this game that just started is really interesting, and I hope you guys see the very end of it, because the result of it is like crazy. I haven't seen anything like it so far. And I guess those are the main things. Like, it's been so fun. Flyers are also able to really put a lot of harassments on snipers, like this Narukami. I put that orb there. Narukami is forced to reposition. It does get some pretty good shots on me, but throughout this game, I sort of try to keep annoying her, make sure to keep forcing her to reposition. Same deal with the tanks. And in games like this, I end up really enjoying hero shooters. I really like Marvel Rivals. I played Overwatch 1 and 2 a really good amount, and I'm really enjoying this game. And I think part of it too is that the way that my brain works, I've sort of got a lot of things running at the same time. Like, I'm feeling a lot of emotions simultaneously, having to think about, okay, what is my intention behind doing this? I feel that multiple emotions about it. Which one is the primary one? Do I want to let one override the others? Do I not do something because only one motivation is not quote unquote pure or something like that? I've always sort of got that conflict going on, and with games like this that give me a specific role to play, even like Final Fantasy XIV that has the same three, like classic, the MMO trinity of DPS, tank, and support. When I have a clear role, it is so much easier for me, and I'm able to lock in so much better, because I no longer have to be juggling all of those things. I no longer have to worry about the multiple competing things that are going on in my head. I can just sort of relax and settle into my role that has been clearly given to me by the universe and by the video game in particular, and be like, okay, I know exactly what my job is. I'm going to just do my best at performing my job. And Skyraider's job, at least so far from what I can tell, is hound the tanks, force them to reposition, force the snipers to reposition as well. I don't necessarily, well, maybe I just suck, but I don't necessarily do the most damage in most of my games. But I feel like I'm constantly being that little stupid annoying fly, repositioning, helping my teammates, supporting them from far. That Narukami getting like taken by the Panther was really funny. And that's my role, and I'm able to play it the best I can. Oh, I love playing against Aquilas, by the way. Like, killing them and making them stop sniping because I can just fly at them and break their shields in one missile salvo. As the Welkin boxes me, Welkin This Welkin fucked me up. I was stuck in these squares. Oh my gosh. Welkin has definitely been my #1 worst enemy. To be honest, I think he's most people's #1 worst enemy. I've been seeing so much of Welkin fucking people up. And I guess that's about why I like Skyraider. We've reached sort of the end of the match here. It's 7-7, and you're going to see something real crazy here in a second. You see there that the Welkin underneath me is really low. They try to box me in. It doesn't quite work. I go back around, and I'm communicating to my friends who are on comms at this point. Hey, we got to go for the Welkin. The Welkin is our easiest target. So we're fighting down there. My two friends are trying so fucking hard to get to this Welkin. I'm getting there too, but the smoke is down. We drop the thing. My Solaris is also really low. And both my Solaris and Welkin die at the same time. It says defeat, but if you actually look at this screen here in just a second after the highlight screen, no one got MVP, which tells me that neither team won. So this was actually a draw. This game was actually a draw. We were so distraught because it said defeat, and we were like, damn, we must have died first. But look, no MVP. So it is possible to get a draw in this game, which is so strange. But that's about it for the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm sure there's stuff on your screen right now to watch something else of me. Cool. I hope you all have a great day.